Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me. My first question always is, can you please type yes if you can hear me? And then I will know that everything is working and that we can proceed. Yes. Yes, yes. Hi, David, Denise, Carol, hello. Juta, Jonathan, Bob. Okay, super. We are good to go. So what I'm going to do today is, Jesus insisted that I do this today. I don't really do Christmas at all. So, but he said that's not true for everyone. So I am going to bring him through and we'll see what he has to say. I'll be going to the chat after he's done his statement and we'll see if he can answer a few questions. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and it is very, very good that you are here today. You are involved in a ceremony that has been orchestrated to produce certain effects and to bring certain things about. This is distressing for some of you. Some of you are deeply, deeply entrenched in the Christmas traditions as they have been taught to you in your society. But we want you to know that it is not required. And what is happening in your society now, as you're beginning to evolve, as your frequency is going up, you are catching on. You are catching on to the story. Why are you catching on to the story? Because your frequency is getting adjusted up. And as your frequency gets adjusted up by the natural environment and the consciousness revolution, evolution that is happening here and now in your society on this very planet, because that is happening, the old ways are not serving you anymore, and you are beginning to feel and see and truly know that there is something wrong. You are, of course, coming to see that there is a materialistic aspect to these holidays, which is overwhelming many of you. And you are beginning to see that it's overwhelming your beautiful planet, this idea of consumption. However, those of you that are wishing to back off from these traditions are assailed by very, very negative emotions when you even attempt to think about it. And this is what we want to address partially today. We are going to go to some of your questions after this Christmas lecture, but we want you to understand that it is those negative feelings and those negative voices that arise when you decide that you are going to break the rules that you have been taught need to be followed. It is those negative voices that you are going to be unloved or unlovable, that you are chintzy or cheap, that you are going to suffer somehow, that people are going to hate you, that you are going to lose relationships. These are the voices of the conditioning programs that you have all been through. Now, the conditioning programs of your society are not merely negative stories and threatening stories. They would not be taken into your beautiful minds if they were told so. If the truth was told, you would not listen to them. The beings that are working on these programs of indoctrination have a very, very specific percentage of negativity that they can include in a good story before you detect it. And so what do they use when they are designing these stories for you? They use your emotions. That is what you see when you are watching Christmas movies. It also applies to romantic movies, but that's a whole nother story. When you're watching Christmas movies, you will feel the emotions being played upon. And that is your clue. That is your clue that you are being manipulated, because when you see something and when you hear something and when you feel something along with those two input devices, we will call them, they become hardwired into your system. That is why if you're traumatized, you see images and feel the same things over and over again, because what you saw, what you felt was anchored in with fear, a strong negative emotion. However, what can be used to anchor these programs is strong positive emotion, extreme joy, extreme sorrow, extreme compassion. If there's an image and a feeling, a product, a principle, and a strong emotion orchestrated to work together, and remember, most of these systems are using hypnotic devices to train you. You have all been watching television for so long. You have all been listening to Christmas music for so long. So what is going on here? Well, you love my teachings. You love spiritual principles. You love the idea of forgiveness. You love the idea of joy. You love the idea of awakening. You are caught deep in the mire of the egoic belief system and mind in your society because of these kinds of programs. But in your heart of hearts, your guidance system is aligned with love. And that is what is used against you in these programs. They know that you're a loving being. They know that if they attach all kinds of things to love, then you'll go for it. What I want to say to you today is that this is the day, maybe tomorrow, this is the day that we want you to look back on this last month or two, particularly today, the feelings that have come up today. If you've had any stresses, if you've had any disillusionment, if you've had any sadness, if you've had any feelings of disconnection or overwhelmment, it is this quiet time right after Christmas that we want you to ask yourself, what was driving me to do what I did this Christmas? Where did I do things that I didn't want to do? Where did I feel strong negative emotion? Where did I hear a voice saying, if you don't do that? Because it's fresh in your mind now. In July or August, you won't even think about Christmas until the program starts running. And then you'll be in exactly the same place next year as you were this year. But we want you to understand why we're speaking about this now. Because it is important for your society's evolution for you to eliminate from your mind any low frequency programs that are detrimental to you, your family, and your planet and your society. And this Christmas one is indeed detrimental. So much money is wasted. So many cheap and unnecessary gifts are bought, or extravagant and expensive gifts that people can't afford. Love is associated with materialism, and that is one of the great contaminating principles of the way this holiday is designed. So today or tomorrow, we would like you to take yourselves off into a quiet room, maybe light a candle, and write down the feelings that you've had about the approaching this particular day. Now, if you're in alignment with the program, and you're happy to shop, and you're happy to cook, and you're happy to buy new clothes, it is not yet time for you to change your mind. Your frequency is in alignment with those programs. But if you are in that moment of contemplation later today or tomorrow, aware of some significant stresses, some significant regrets, observing yourself doing things that you actually didn't want to do, and if there's a surprise there that you said, I wasn't going to do that this year, and lo and behold, didn't you do it? and you think to yourself, who's in charge here? Is this my mind determining my actions? Who is the me that's observing me doing something I don't want to do? There's a split mind there. That is what we want you to become aware of. Where are you off track as it relates to you in playing out this Christmas season? I have no investment in Christmas. It does not do anything for me. It does not elevate me in that sense. I am where I am, and I do what I do, and I teach what I teach, and I share what I share. I bring you the truth, and I bring you information today so that you can prepare your mind over the next year to be more free, to let go of some of those preconceived ideas that you don't even know where they came from. But we do have bad news for you. We do not want you to watch Christmas movies. This is one of the places where programs are deeply instilled, and if you love your children, you will not raise them on Christmas movies. That is where the program begins. They will be sitting on your lap, and they'll feel your love, and they'll be watching that imagery, and they will have their little emotions being triggered by you hugging them, by you pointing to the television and telling them that this is a beautiful story and that you should do this, that God wants you to do this. And that is where their indoctrination will begin. And many of you will feel a sense of sorrow, even at my mentioning not watching Christmas movies. Why? Because you believe in them. They are in you. And that is the relinquishment plan that we want you to contemplate one whole year before you go through this program again. We want you to contemplate how much you spent, how much you ate, how much you drank, where and what you did, and what was your motivation. Was it guilt? Was it shame? Was it fear of someone saying you screwed you? And that is, of course, one of the great programming movies of your society. The idea that being frugal is evil. Now, in my teachings, it is about giving. It is about understanding that giving and receiving are the same thing. But we are not speaking about monetary giving here. We're not speaking about materialistic giving here. We're speaking about the extension of what you are as a being. And that is what we would like you to contemplate giving next Christmas, if you want to give anything at all. But of course, we are here to encourage you to give of yourself, to extend yourself every day, to show this world the beautiful gifts that you have, not in a sacrificing or martyrish way, as you are trained to do, but to know that you are valuable, to know that you have guidance, and to know that you have an impeccable guidance system that tells you whether you're moving towards love or whether you're moving away from love. And you will know by feelings of happiness and contentment if you're moving towards love, and feelings of limitation and fear, resentment, guilt, or shame if you're moving away from love. And that is the measuring system that we want you to refer to when you do your homework. And we really want you to do your homework tonight or tomorrow, while Christmas is fresh in your mind. When you look back and you think, my goodness, look at what I did leading up to this day. Look at what I invested in this day. And it is nothing to do with Jesus. And we are sorry to burst that bubble for you, but we must be truthful. We have been leading up to this kind of conversation for a long time. Christmas spirit is wonderful, but it is manipulating. It is being manipulated in your society, and we want you to understand that. We want you to understand that my love for you has nothing to do with what you do at Christmas, or Easter for that matter. We want you to understand on this side of the veil that your beautiful, unique self is the only gift that we want you to give the world. We want you to honor yourself and know that it's okay for you to choose what you do. We want you to appreciate yourself and know that you have a wonderful opportunity, even though this is a world of separation, fear and death, and it is a challenging place. There are teachings available to you through this being and through this YouTube channel. There are teachings available to you for you to clarify your mind, to reconnect to source as your plug-in, let's say, instead of going into the horizontal world, being down in duality, you go up through the heart, through the higher mind, to that which you would call God or Christ consciousness. And that is the challenge for this coming year. To not look to the world to make you happy, to not look to the new pair of boots or a new car to make you happy, but to go inside and ask, what is within me that wants to express itself? What is it within me that is unique? What is it within me that feels as if it needs to be developed? Everything you need is within you. Your intelligence, your guidance system, your love, your passion, your creativity, your connection to the divine. You have it all within you. But to access that, you must be aware of where you're trained to go to the material to get things, whether it's to another body to get something, to get love, whether it's to working harder to get more money so that you feel more secure, whether it's to food and restaurants so that you can numb yourself with food temporarily so that you don't feel the feelings that you're feeling. We want you to know that there is tremendous growth imminent this year. And all of you that do the interior work, that means the asking of the question, what is my motivation here? Why am I doing this? What am I looking for outside of myself? Can I receive that from my connection to the divine? Can I receive that from going within? For it is not out there. This place, this world of projection is not where it is. You may temporarily get satisfaction from the body or the food or the money, but you will feel inside of you when there is something lacking, and it is not going to be found out there. It is going to be found by clarifying the mind. And yes, you know what we are going to say next. The lessons of A Course in Miracles are a wonderful, wonderful gift to contemplate this holiday season, to begin on January 1st with lesson 1 of A Course in Miracles, so that you are dedicating this year to love and peace truly, not just saying the words as you speak them at Christmas sometimes, but you are actually acting in accord. Thought, word, and deed are in alignment when you step into the study of that material. If you've already tried it and it didn't work, we say to you, try it again this January 1st, because the elevating frequencies of your planet are going to assist you now. Many years ago, the frequency was lower, and the dissonance between that book and you may have been too much, but not this year. And we say to you, the material changes that are going to be viewed and the secrets that are going to be revealed this year will challenge you if you do not have a solid spiritual practice to guide you up out of the ego's playground and into that true source of knowledge and power, which is your connection to the divine. So we challenge all of you that are listening today or tomorrow to do this homework and ask yourself, what program was running in me that I did not enjoy? This is what I must remind myself of before next Christmas, so that I don't fall into the conditioned mind trap, so that I can prepare my friends and family to say, I bought you gifts this year, but actually next year I'm not going to do that. And I want you all to know early on so that you don't get disappointed. You've just had your gifts this year. You're not thinking about them now. But next year, I'm going to invest that money in something that spirit inspires me to invest in. Maybe I'm going to invest in a holiday. Maybe I'm going to invest in education. Maybe I'm going to invest in helping somebody achieve something. Maybe I'm going to invest in a business that I've always wanted to do. Maybe I'm going to invest in my health. Maybe I'm going to invest that money in organic food because I really need to look after my car, my vehicle, this thing that takes me from A to B, that allows me to learn my spiritual lessons. And I haven't been looking after it, and I see that. But I haven't had enough money this year, and now I'm seeing that I'm spending money where it is not necessary. So I love you, but I'm not going to do gifts next year. And what will happen is you'll feel a little flash of fear. You'll feel a little flash of, oh my God, what are they going to say? And most people will say, that's great. I didn't want to buy gifts either. Let's neither of us do it. And this is often what happens. The ego will counsel you to keep secrets. It will say, do not say anything. Do not tell them. Because it knows that if you don't say anything, the program will run. If you don't say anything, you cannot be healed of things when they are in the dark, in the shadows. Why can you not be healed of them when they are in the dark and in the shadows? Because that means you want them. You have hidden them, and so you've said, this is my precious baby, I'm going to keep it. But when you reveal the truth, you say, I don't want this anymore. And Spirit can help you remove those things. But you must be the courageous one. You must be the one that holds that dark secret up to the light and says, I don't want this anymore. And that is what your homework is for, so that you can find the secrets hidden in your own mind, revealed to you by your feelings. I am that one that you know as Jesus. And our dear one here is going to go to the chat now, and we will answer some questions. We will return shortly. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, chat box. Let's see. So Dragonfly B44, that's what you're feeling. You're feeling that. So that's the homework. Okay. Someone like to pose a question? I'm reading the chat right now. And while I'm waiting, I just want to say this is about year 10 that I have not done Christmas. And this is the first year I've been truly free. Every year I haven't done it, but I would have some shame or I would have some fear. This is the first truly free year. And boy, am I happy. Okay. Why don't you do a reading for me? Because I can't figure out Skype. Terry, you can get someone helping you to figure out Skype, and then you can connect with me. It is actually not my job to help you figure out Skype. That would ask a friend or ask someone at the store. Or okay. What can Jesus advise to those of us who are alone and isolated and don't have close family or friends? Morning sunbeam. Okay, let's see what he says. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and it is important for you to understand the principles of this place in which you find yourself. Its default setting is separation. That is what this individual body that you seem to be living in demonstrates. It demonstrates your belief in separation. And so your belief in separation manifested your individuation. It manifested your individual experience here. And if you do not choose love intentionally and consciously and reprogram the way you manifest your experience, Your default setting will be separation. And that is what a lot of people feel. They feel that they are alone. They don't relate to people. People are weird. They're stupid, or they cannot attract a partner. This is why A Course in Miracles is such an important book for you as a society. Why? Because once again, you are trained into individuation deeper and deeper and deeper each year. How is this done to you? Well, you are taught that you must have your own home and your own lawnmower and your own individual car. You must have your own television and you must have your own phone. Well, if you look at all of those things, these are incredibly expensive things, incredibly difficult to attain, tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars or pounds. And so you go to work and you struggle and you work really hard, your shoulder to the grindstone. And in that belief, you isolate yourself because you are actually saying, not through any fault of your own, but because this is a place of separation and because your society, we're speaking about Western society now, Western society indoctrinates you into doing everything by yourself and keeping away from people. So for you that feel so lonely and separated, you must look around yourself and you must look at yourself each day and you must ask yourself, why am I doing this to myself? Why do I value my isolation so much? Do I think that I am going to lose control of my life if I invite people in? Now, if you are looking at your life and it is a desert, there are no loved ones there, no children, no partners, you are completely alone. We want you to start from a place of acceptance. Now, this is something that you think will cause more trouble. But when you start from a place of acceptance, what you are doing is saying, my life is reflecting my mind as it is today. If I hate my life and I judge my life and I judge this isolation and I judge this fear and this terrible loneliness, what you are in fact doing is attacking yourself. You are attacking the mind that is manifested right in front of you. This is what your life is for. Your life is to show you the things that you are unaware of. You see, in this particular form of consciousness, you only allow a certain part of yourself to be seen. Once again, like that iceberg, there's the top part and then there's the deep, subterranean, subconscious part. What you are seeing what you are seeing outside of yourself in this lack of people, in this lack of love, is you are seeing your lack of love. You are seeing your desire for isolation that you are denying is yours. I am a victim of the world. People stay away from me. Nobody loves me. You are not a victim of the world. You are the creator of your world, dear one. You have beliefs and ideas in your mind that are untrue and unloving, and they produce this isolation. So in your acceptance of what is, you immediately turn to love by looking at your isolation, your loneliness, and saying, wow, this is my creation. I have done this. You are immediately stepping up your frequency closer to truth, for it is the truth. You have created your own life, miscreated perhaps, but it is your doing. And in that total acceptance of what is, you are including in your partially accepted consciousness everything. You are saying, I have made all of this. And you can do this with any aspect that you don't like. Whether you're poor or whether you're overweight or whether you're addicted to something, you can say, this is my mind being shown to me. If you push and resist and deny and hide and keep that secret close to you so that you cannot be healed of it, it will stay. What you resist persists, and that is the principle behind that saying. That what you resist, you are not accepting, you are not loving, you are not saying, this addiction that I have or this sickness that I have is telling me something about me. It's not about the world, dear ones. It's about you. And that word projection is so important for you to truly understand. This is not just about laying your feelings on another being, which is the modern use of that word, and it is true indeed, and all of you do it. But this entire place is a projection. What are we seeking to get you to do? We are getting you to include all of you in your loving consciousness. So instead of saying, I am a victim of the world, and pushing part of your mind away from you, of course you don't get rid of it. It's still in your consciousness, but it seems to be easier to blame. But the place of blaming is the place of weakness, the place of powerlessness. And that is why you are taught to be materialistic in this society. Because as long as you are physically focused on the bodies, on the money, on the food, on the alcohol, on the cars, on the houses, and just look at your commercial television, you know what they want you to do. As long as you are going to those systems for your relief, you will not take back your power and say no to the materialistic, the sensory solution. I'm not going to eat this feeling away. I'm not going to shop this feeling away. All of you who have problems, all of you that have issues that you want to deal with, every single one of you, 30 days of radical acceptance will change your life. 30 days of saying, I'm going to look at everything in my life, my husband, my wife, my children, my body, my sicknesses, my poverty, my wealth, my loneliness, my promiscuity, my addictions. I'm going to spend 30 days investigating them with love, saying, what are you trying to show me? This is me. This is not somebody doing something to me, although that's the form it can take. It can seem that you are attacked by others, but that is your mind of belief and attack manifesting for you to see. Everything is to show you something. If you are in an unhappy marriage and you are beaten or abused, you must accept that on some level you think you deserve to be treated badly. And until you accept that and say, there is something in me that needs to learn to love myself, that kind of situation will just arise in different forms. Doesn't matter if you leave that marriage. If you hate yourself, you will get in car accidents. You will get in bad job situations. You will be scammed. The form is deceptive because it looks like it's changing, but the underlying frequency is the same and it's coming from you. That is the biggest gift you can give yourself today, your wonderful, wonderful Christmas gift. 30 days of radical acceptance of what is, and asking the question, what in me is attracting this experience, person, place, or thing? What in me has the frequency of this thing that I seem to not want? Let me turn it around and ask, do I want to be alone? Do I want to be without partners and friends and family? You must on some level, otherwise it would not look that way. And once again, we say, if you don't know how to change this, do the lessons of A Course in Miracles. Investigate with me your consciousness. Investigate with me the basement and the attic that you have filled with untrue ideas, and we will dissolve those things together and we will walk towards a different future. But you must be willing to invest in your own consciousness. The amount of time that the commercial producers and the movie producers and the school designers have invested in taking your mind from you and leading you down a path that does not make you happy. We will return shortly. Alrighty. I also just want to thank Dawn Del Vecchio. I am in her beautiful office today. She has so kindly offered me the use of her home in Sedona while she is away, and blessed be. Thank you so much, and Doug too. Really appreciate it. Okay. Okay. Well done, Maria. 30 days of radical acceptance of what is. Just by saying, Staying in thoughts of oneness and love. Are we powerful healers for humanity, as am I healer for the world, just by being in the I consciousness? Denise Carter, just by thoughts. Let's see what Jesus says. You are blessed being indeed. And once you understand the principles of projection, you will realize that you are transforming the world when you transform your mind. You are like a pebble being thrown in a calm lake. What you do transforms everything. It has to, because you are the projector out from your consciousness. You are in a shared dream, and this is something that is very confusing for people. It's confusing for people when you are deeply immersed in the materialistic world. Once again, why your society wants you down in the realm of food and fast cars. It is not that food and fast cars are sinful. It is that if you only focus on those things, you are in a very low frequency place. So you have the third dimensional frequency, but you have the lower realms of that frequency, and you have the higher realms of that frequency, 1,000 iterations in that level of consciousness. You come in at a level that is in alignment with your, we will say, incarnational frequency. We do not want to perpetuate the idea that multiple lifetimes are all behind you. They are synchronous, they are all happening at the same time. And you are making choices, the many yous that there are, the facets of you. You are a multifaceted, multidimensional being, and you are experiencing a multiplicity of incarnations all at the same time. And within each of those incarnations, you are choosing what you want to experience, and that is your freedom. That is the love that Spirit has for you. God, all that is, has for you. It says, go do what you want to do. Choose what you want to choose. You will experience the frequency of the seeds that you are planting. You will reap what you sow, and it's not a punishment. It is just a frequency. So if you have the opportunity to love or hate, and you choose the opportunity to love through self-acceptance initially, and this is where we want to direct the answer to this question, because you have been trained through your Judeo-Christian teachings that it is service work at the expense of your own life that will take you to heaven. And this is sacrifice and suffering and martyrdom. Very, very big principles in your Judeo-Christian teachings. Now, what we want you to understand is that the clarification of your mind, the removal from your mind of anything that's unloving, makes you far more valuable as a service provider than if you are contaminated with materialistic and ego-driven views, which all of you are in this society. So if you believe in your lower 3D frequency manifestation that you have to sacrifice and suffer to be a good person and to go to heaven, you will not get there. You will not feel good. You will feel resentful. Sacrifice breeds resentment. And you may be a martyr, but you'll be a miserable one. You'll be a person who cooks when they don't want to, and people are like, she's so miserable when she's cooking. That is not a gift to anyone, certainly not a gift to you. But if you clarify your mind, if you remove from your consciousness that which is unloving through forgiveness practice and through the teachings that are demonstrated and deeply explored in A Course in Miracles, you will get yourself to a frequency into the higher realms of the 3D world. Now you're heading towards love. You're heading towards the fourth dimension, which is loving, more high, more elevated. And this planet of yours is going from 3D to 5D through the heart. And this is why forgiveness is so important, because it is not through thinking. It is not through analysis. It is through love. True love, not romantic love, not the love that you're marketed to, not the love that's marketed to you in your society. But true love begins with your acceptance of what and who you are today, with all of your errors and foibles and poor choices. That is where love begins. And if you start that process and go through the process of the clarification of your mind so that you feel yourself expanding, this is one of the ways that you know you're on the right track, and you will begin to have feelings of compassion where before you had feelings of judgment. You will have feelings of love for humanity where before you thought that humanity was stupid. You will have an affinity with beings that is beyond the physical. You will say, I love them so much. It's got nothing to do with bodies. It's got nothing to do with materialism. I just love them. You will begin to feel within you a transformation when you do the lessons of A Course in Miracles based on the text and the deep understanding of why you're doing that forgiveness practice, why you're doing that questioning practice, why you are saying, you are no longer my enemy. I don't like you right now, but I'm going to send you love. I'm going to pray for you, because that tells you that you understand the laws of creation. But we want you to be careful. Are you isolating yourself with your spiritual practice? Are you setting yourself above others with your spiritual practice? This is something that the ego can do in the beginning stages of your journey. Always, always be vigilant for that judgmental thought in your mind. Oh, they're eating meat. I'm much better than them. They are doing this. I'm better than them. That your ego can use your spiritual practice very, very easily. It will just jump from one thing to another. It doesn't care. But you must listen to the voice within you. You must listen to that voice and say, is this a loving voice or is this a judgmental voice? Judgment means you're in the ego mind. When you're in the ego mind, you're in separation. You're creating more separation because you are saying, instead of you're my brother or my sister, you're saying you're different than me. You're not as good as me. And it can go the other way, that you're better than me. If you envy someone or you lust after something that someone has, that means that they're up higher than you, that you wish you were better than you think you are. So just be aware of that when you're in your spiritual practice. The inner voice will let you know, and you will get a feeling. Now, while we're on the subject, we do want to talk about this idea of feelings and emotions and guidance, because it's a very important one for you to understand. So as you've had this lead up to Christmas, many of you have had feelings to shop, feelings to eat, feelings to do all kinds of things. And you have done them and they haven't necessarily made you feel good. So feelings are not something that we want you to relentlessly allow to guide you. We want your guidance to be those quiet things that keep leading you, keep whispering to you. You should buy some art pencils. We'd love to draw. That place over there, we want to go there. And it's not temperamental. It's not volatile. It's that still quiet voice inside that says, we'd like to go back to school and study medicine. We'd like to go back to school and study art. And no matter where you go and what job you have, there's that little voice that says, we'd really like to do that. And what might happen in your consciousness is you say, well, we can't afford it. It's going to take too long. I'm too old. And right there, you've got 3 programs telling you why you shouldn't listen to that small voice. And those programs will make you volatile, and those programs will make you reactionary, because you will be sacrificing what it is you truly want to express in this incarnation. But many of you have lives that are way off track, where you've made many decisions that were based on suffering, sacrifice, and martyrdom. And people are depending on you, and there's big mortgages, and there's big debts, and there are family members who depend on you to sacrifice yourself to keep them happy. And you say, my goodness me, I can't change this. And we challenge you. We say, yes, you can. You can do your homework and you can say, what can I begin to change today, tomorrow? What can I begin to change that in 1 year is going to have me in a completely different place? You can begin to say, I can't actually do that for you today. You're going to have to do it for yourself today. I'm going to an evening class to learn how to bead caftans. It doesn't matter. Don't judge it. If you want to learn to bead caftans, bead caftans. It is your right as an individuated being on this plane at this time to choose what it is that you want to do with your time. God loved you so much that you are given absolute freedom, and you are given the right and the ability to do whatever it is that you want to do and to experience the consequences of that choice and to learn from that choice. And it is so important that you step back from judging anyone who's doing something that you think they shouldn't do or that you wouldn't do if you were them, because you have no idea of what their guidance is. You have no idea of what lessons they needed to learn in this incarnation. There is a phrase we use frequently, and it is stay in your own lane. Ask yourself, is this my business? Is it their business, or is it God's business? Focus on your business. Focus on clarification of your life, your mind, your heart. Focus on working towards that which you would like to experience. And when someone comes into your lane, because you are a Course in Miracles student, you will not attack them. You will not judge them. You will say, hello, brother. Hello, sister. How's it going? Would you like to sit down and have a cup of tea and talk about it? You can approach each other lovingly and forgivingly. And yes, when you dedicate your mind to pursuing love in its truthful definition, not your romanticized love, but love in its truthful definition, you will change the world. You will be far more effective emitting a loving frequency than 1,000 people who are chasing their ego's dreams. And it's not that that is punishable. It is not that that is a sin, but what really is a sin? It is missing the mark. It is not actually being on the right track. The ego has 1,000 pathways that it will tell you will make you happy, and you are free to chase as many dreams as you wish, and we want you to. Because it's not until you've chased a few dreams and fallen down a few times and realized that actually you're not getting where you want to go. It is when you have had a few bruises and you've had a few failures and you may even have had a few divorces that you become teachable and you say, what I'm doing is not working. There must be another way. And in that moment, spirit will come rushing to you and say, yes, there is another way, and here it is. And that is what this being did. Her life is not perfect now. She has her struggles. She has her challenges. But she is willing to do this work because she has seen the transformation that it has made in her internal experience. She has a much more peaceful mind, a much more gentle voice, a much less aggressive way about her. And she knows that there is much more work for her to do. But she sees this demonstration as a demonstration of real love. Not chasing the fictitious love that your romantic movies and your societies tell you to chase. So do this work, dear ones, and you will find that you will reap the rewards of peace of mind. And we tell you there is no greater gift you can give yourself, to be able to sit calmly and quietly in your own presence and say, this is okay. And it is not boring, and it is not without excitement, but it is not the temporary and unsatisfying excitement of the ego stories. It is a profound and deep connection to powerful influences, a profound and deep connection to knowledge and love. And it feeds the very heart of you. It feeds the very soul of you to connect to those higher frequencies. We will return shortly. Alrighty. Time goes so fast. Don't listen to politics. Feelings aren't wrong, but they are erratic. And we need to have our minds clarified. Okay, I'm going to do one more question. It's 10 to 6. And let's see. How do I make a difference between inner voice and voice to do something that has a low frequency impact? How do I choose the right one? Okay, Yasmin, let's see what Jesus says there. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and this is the ultimate question. How do I choose? Well, you begin by clarifying the mind, and this is why we bring these teachings to you at this time of year, and we will do another session on New Year's Day for those of you that enjoyed this. We will be poking this one a little bit to do some more live streaming events such as this. You have a guidance system that is God-given. You feel good. Now, we aren't talking about sensory pleasures here. We are speaking about an overall vibe. We'll use that word because you understand that. Eating a piece of chocolate cake is a sensory experience, and it will distract you from your suffering mind for a little while. That's why people overeat. The mind is dissatisfied, it's unhappy, it's emoting, it's fearful. And when you put food in your mouth, the brain, through the sensory stimulation, is distracted for a little while, and you will actually feel a profound sense of relief. And you will say, when I eat chocolate cake, I feel better. But what's actually happening is your brain cannot do two things at once. It cannot suffer and tell the story that you're a loser and that you're ugly or whatever your ego's telling you, and deal with the cake at the same time. So as you're putting cake in there, it goes to the feeling of the taste of the cake and the smoothness of the chocolate and the feeling of fullness. And then there's the blood sugar going up and the stimulation in the physiology that that gives you. And so you may eat a couple of pieces of cake and you may have peace for 45 minutes. And then you'll feel sick. And then you'll start to judge yourself because you do not have control of your mind. How do you know that? Because you ate cake to feel better. And we will tell you that is a level confusion. You cannot heal the mind with physical means. Physical means can temporarily distract you from your mind, and they do. People have sex to feel better, and then they feel depressed and sad and lonely afterwards, right back to when they started. But you are never trained in this society what's actually happening, and it is all mind. So when you suffer, you are being shown by your beautiful guidance system that you are off track with your mind. So don't go to the body to fix that problem, go to the mind. And how do you fix the mind with a broken mind? You cannot. That is why you get caught in these whirlpools and vortexes of suffering, because you are not taught how to heal the mind. We can teach you how to heal the mind. First of all, you must go into the mind, not out into the world to solve your problems, not to the fridge to solve your problems. But you must go to the mind and say, clearly, I am suffering deeply. I am confused and lost, and I don't even know how to make a decision anymore. My mind must be contaminated with things that are confusing me because I cannot make a decision about what's right and what's important and what feels good. I'm just confused. What do I do? We say, you go to the lessons of A Course in Miracles. They are the means that you have been given to train your mind out of confusion and into a state of calmness where you are more able to see your beliefs and your fears and your feelings. Now, you will say, I don't want to spend a year doing A Course in Miracles lessons, all those words, and it's so difficult, and I forget the lessons. And we say, yes, you forget the lessons, because your mind is like a wild horse running riot around a field, and you're trying to put a saddle on it. And you're running around chasing it, thinking, well, if I just keep chasing this horse, I can get the saddle on. Well, anyone who knows horses and knows minds will know that that's not possible. You must sit yourself under a tree and read a book on how to train horses. And that horse will become saddleable and rideable and trainable. But you must read a book on how to train your mind. It's the same thing. You see a powerful, beautiful horse galloping around saying, "You can't catch me." And your mind is the same. It's been fed so much food for the ego. It is powerful. It is the most powerful creative device in the universe. And it will miscreate, and it will kick down fences, and it will charge around and be naughty if you do not train it. So for heaven's sake, and we mean that literally, you will find heaven if you train your mind. Then you will be able to make sound choices. If you do not get rid of the programming, if you do not get rid of the fears and understand where they're being generated by you in your own mind, you will not be able to make sound choices. So we say to all of you, don't make drastic decisions if you're not willing to do A Course in Miracles lessons. You may marry the wrong person. You may move to the wrong place. You may buy the wrong car. You may invest in the wrong thing. Dedicate your loving mind to healing this year. The broken mind, the fractured mind, the distorted mind, the contaminated mind cannot fix itself. We give you the lessons of A Course in Miracles so that you may be guided through the transformation of who you think you are to who you really are. You will not lose anything of value. You will only lose that which is unloving, which is fear-mongering, which is sickness-inducing. You will be left with the beautiful parts of you, the unique you that you came into this incarnation to be, and your life will begin to shift and change, and you will see where you are participating in your suffering, for that is really what these lessons will reveal to you. It will not reveal to you that the world is evil and that everyone else is wrong. It will reveal to you that you are complicit in your suffering. And in that revelation, in that understanding, in that deep, deep recognition, you will get your power back, and you will say, if I'm causing my suffering, then I am able to stop my suffering. And that is really what we want you to do. If you can't decide, you can't discern what's right and what's wrong, you are being given a demonstration. As we told you earlier, your life, your internal experience is giving you a demonstration of your own mind. And that means you don't know what's right. You don't know what is the right path for you. You need help. And it is through loving clarification with support from Spirit. And that is what that book will do. It will call to you that great supportive Christ consciousness that worked with me when I was a human being in the physical form. You call me Jesus Christ, but I was a man. I was a man studying. I was a man practicing loving kindness and forgiveness. And I had the difficulties that you have, but I was determined in that last incarnation to overcome the ego mind. And that is what I did. Now I am not restricted by bodies. I am not restricted by time. And with your wonderful, wonderful technology, we can all come together in circumstances such as this. But you can call upon me tonight to come and assist you. You can call upon me tonight to come and help guide you. You can call upon me tonight to reveal to you what you need to look at. For I will be truthful with you. I will tell you what it is that you need to look at. It may come in a dream. It may come in a synchronicity. It may come in a phone call. But we will work together to guide you out of confusion and into the peaceful mind that is aligned with love and truth. I am that one that you know as Jesus. And this being is being very compliant today. She loves this work. She loves the transformation that A Course in Miracles has made in her life. And we do what we can to work with her free will to bring you teaching such as this. We will speak to you again soon. Compliance, not my strong point. Okay, my lovelies. Thank you so much for joining me. Apparently I'm doing this on New Year's Day too, so I will see you then. I want to thank you all, and please share this if you're brave enough to. Share the video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.